Alright guys, let's talk about your coolant gauge here. Something specific that has been going on with my car recently is, here, let me try to stabilize the video while I show you, bouncing it on the steering wheel. So I'll be driving, and my coolant gauge, as the car warms up, coolant gauge goes up, obviously, the temperature gauge. Well, mine will go up, but it'll also start like bouncing around like this, just up and down and up and down. And at one point, actually, my car was too hot, so I wouldn't say like all the way up here, like where you should shut it off and let it sit for a while, but it was probably getting up there, and it was showing actually down here in the bottom range, and it was just bouncing up and down like that, like rapid fire. And I know that some people, they have like their gauge will, it'll go up and then it'll just kind of slowly fluctuate like that, but mine is just da 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 like that. So what I'm doing today is I'm replacing the engine coolant temperature sensor, and I'm going to show you guys where that's at. And now we're out in the engine bay outside, and obviously there's your valve cover. Now if you just go from the valve cover right back to here, I actually already took mine out, but you can see the kind of neon green color right here. This is where it's at, right there. Now for this, you're gonna want like a really deep socket, and I'll show you which one I'm using. And I'll come over here. Here's the sensor here. I don't know how well you can see it. It looks pretty good. Wow, that's blurry. Looks kind of dark in the video, but anyway, you can see that on here it's got the where the harness clips right here, and you're like, oh, well, you'd essentially say, well, why can't I just take a wrench and get it in there? And I'll show you. Where'd my wrench go? Oh, it's right here. Alright, by the way, this is a size 19, so it's pretty hefty. To try to get a size 19 in here and under this piece here, like, it just, there's no way to do it. It would just be ridiculous. So what I'm using then is a deep well socket, which happens to be this gold one right here, size 19. And what I'm going to show you now is I have it on a pretty long extension, but definitely have plenty of room. And then now I have that set up, this sensor actually is able to fit all the way inside the socket, just like that, and it actually fits. Now, this is from a different set than what I normally use, because the one I use has like a little, I'll call it like a little shelf thing, and it's just too far up, so I can't quite get it the way I need it to go. Also one thing to note is, alright, so this is a Bosch sensor, this is a Valuecraft sensor. Is the only one they had, but this one sticks up just a fraction. So the one that I was actually using before, it wasn't a 19, it was a 3/4, and it worked for the Bosch sensor, but because this one's just the tiniest bit taller from the nut to the top where the harness plugs in, it wouldn't fit down far enough to be able to tighten anything. So I had to go and find this one. See if I can get a good shot inside. No, I can't. But anyway, definitely deep enough for what you're going to use it for. And I think these ones were from Harbor Freight, pretty sure. Yeah, these are Pittsburgh. Right here. You can find Pittsburgh at Harbor Freight. Now, I also toyed with the idea of what's called a crow's foot, and that would work, but it's also a little bit, I mean, you can bring it over here. I'll kind of show you. I mean, it could fit down in here. Well, it could fit down in here, but once it hits a certain spot, it's gonna get snag. It's gonna snag right here or over here on the sensor and stuff. You could make it work, but it's just. Oh, and also this bolt right here. You can't get it to go all the way down like you need it to, and you could slightly tip it downward like that, and it would work mostly okay, but definitely the easiest way to do it. Deep well socket, just like that. Alright. You are able to test these. What happens is, as the temperature of the coolant changes, there's a thermistor, and it changes the voltage sent to the computer. And the voltage sent to the computer goes to the temp gauge, and also, from what I understand, it can also affect your fuel ratio, your timing, all this other stuff. So it can really mess up the way your car performs as well. Now, I'm not saying that the performance of my car is going to improve, because if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I've been doing a lot to my car. So trying to fix performance issues and that kind of thing. It's kind of a project car. So what I'm going to do, oh, and this one had like Loctite or something on it. It was a red thread locker stuff. I don't recommend using that, because if you've ever taken something out that screws in that has thread locker, after it's been there for a while, it just starts to crumble, and those crumbles are most likely going to go down into your where your coolant is, and you definitely don't want anything extra in your coolant that shouldn't be there. So I wouldn't suggest putting any more thread locker on it, and it shouldn't seep out, because you have your we just went out of focus here. There we go. Because you have your little metal washer here, and also on this one. So that should be all the sealing that it needs, and it should sit pretty tight in there. So yeah, that's about it. We're gonna put it back on here in a second. It actually screws in fairly easily all the way here. I'll just do it here so you guys can see. So you just kind of stick it in there, and you definitely want to go hand tight. Gotta catch the thread here though. Let's see. Did I get it? Nope, not yet. Catching the thread is a little bit tricky. I thought about putting the old one back in to show you guys me on the video taking it out, but I thought that might be a little silly. Alright, so it feels like I got the thread in there just like that. And of course you want to hand tighten it so you make sure that you don't cross thread, because you'll be in pretty big trouble, especially if this doesn't sit flush with the opening here. You'll be in pretty big trouble. Alright, so that's pretty hand tight right there. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the socket. I'm going to stick it on top, use my handy dandy socket wrench, and tighten it down. You don't want to do it too much. You don't want to like over tighten on the threads. And then to get the little connector out of the way, I just kind of stuck it up here because it was kind of dangling down and getting in the way. And then after that, you just plug your connector back on there, just like, well, Can't really see what I'm doing. Yeah, just like that. Snap it in. Good to go. So, hope this video helps you guys. Yeah, I mean, if it fixes any kind of performance issues, fantastic. But it'll definitely help with the making sure your engine temperature is reading correctly, so that you don't overheat. Too much overheating, definitely bad for the engine. You could blow a head gasket that way, and that is not cheap. So, very simple procedure, guys. Don't over tighten, all that good stuff. And yeah, have a great day, and let me know in the comments below if it helps, if you have any suggestions, all that kind of stuff. I'm open to feedback. So have a great day, guys, and see you next time.